Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. This is Smash That Small paper pad put on by Deb Hauk of Deb Hauk's Crafty Cottage. Last month I didn't quite finish Dancing Daisies. This month I am calling it done. I'll show you my scraps. And then I smashed this entire back to school paper pad for 48 sheets of paper. I needed about 70 cards and I have 67 of this paper pad laid out here, so I'm going to show you those. And as I'm stuffing envelopes and figure out exactly how many I need, I might use some of the remaining scraps to make a couple more, or I'll figure something out. So I'll show you. I also have a bit of a process video on this process, not detailed, but sort of the big phases that I went through, and some pointers for you if you want to make a giant batch of cards. And that video will come out tomorrow. I'm going to have to get moving to show you these quickly. So in finishing up the daisies, I think we all agreed we liked the daisies. I love this layout. I want to make some more of that. I just fiddled around, did some die cutting with the remaining paper in the small bits. The thin papers are not good for die cutting sentiments necessarily, but they're great for flowers. And you could do them with sentiments. You just probably want to layer them on some white or something to make them sturdy. I do have these left, a couple of pull pieces. I'm going to put these in my junk journaling and collage stuff because I think I'll like them there. Then let's take a look at these. I used a whole bunch of sticker sheets that I had sitting around that my friend Noni gave me. I used a couple of stamps, all sorts of weird embellishments that were not necessarily, school-based, but enamel dots and these flag foamy things from Pebbles that I hadn't really used. The blue I tried, it didn't work so well. It would have worked on this one, but I used a lot of the white and the red. I don't have a lot of primary color embellishments in my stash. I'm more of a jewel tone and blue. So I don't have two cards in here that are the same. I grouped these to show you by style a little bit. So these are my strip cards that I made. As I laid things out, I just tried to be sure that I didn't have cards that were exactly the same. On the inside of every one of them, I have a thank you or a thanks and a bit of paper scrap. And I left the back blank because this isn't really about my YouTube channel. This is about saying thank you to these people. I know we talked about using some other fun stamps, but the fonts were so different, I couldn't handle it. Is that weird? So these stamps that I used were all out of the same stamp set. Most of them have a version of You're the Best on the front, but some don't. It just depends. And I layered up as much as I could. And like here, you can see I used those foamy Pebbles flag things. I don't know that I love them, but I have a tendency to not use embellishments. I like to buy them, but I don't use them a lot. I didn't feel like these cards were necessarily cards for bling. You know what I mean? Like not so much rhinestones. Other times this is actually the first time I have done school themed cards, and these are for school office staff. The other times I've done summer, maybe some floral, maybe even some coffee for certain people. But this time I thought, okay, let's use this paper. And when I saw it at Tuesday morning, I just couldn't resist it. I thought, I bet I will use that. Some of it said first day of school and back to school, so I tried to tone that down as much as I could. There isn't really a yay, you survived the school year paper out there. If you see it, let me know. End of the school, summer's out kind of thing. I mean, this was a hard year for these people, especially. Their jobs are not easy, but this year was especially rough. So I wanted to be sure that there was a thank you in there. And these stickers, it's just random embellishments and stickers that I had. And then stars. I glued on tons of stars here. I tried the blue. I didn't use sketches what I did was I started with the idea of my sentiments. So the shape of these sentiments dictated a lot of how I laid out the cards and then the cut aparts in the collection. I think that's the problem for me with starting with sketches, is I choose a great sketch and then I can't find a stamp or a sentiment that is the right shape for the sketch. So I think I need to focus more on starting with my sentiment, whether it be cut aparts or stamped, whatever. A lot of the stamps now are long and skinny for sentiments, and the wood block stamps that I have from like the 90s were square. Not a deal breaker, either way I like them. I use them at different times, but you can't necessarily just pick a sketch and say, this is what I'm going to use today if you only have one happy birthday shape. I liked this paper quite a bit. It had variety on both sides in almost every instance that I liked. And if you see it on a major clearance, you could pick it up and make non-school cards with it. There are polka dots and stars and solids. It's actually a really good paper pad. To make 67 cards with something and not be sick of it is pretty impressive, I think. And these were at the end after I made ones with full bases. Then I had the strips. And so this is what I did for the strips. You can see that I layered them on black and intentionally left that space between them. I didn't want to deal with another layer of paper and then have to pop things up. So everything I did in these cards, I was thinking about the fact that the speed was imperative. One year, I barely got the cards to the people before they left for summer. So this year, it was really important to me that I not mess that up and get things moving. I hope you liked those cards. I know I went pretty quick, but there were a lot of them, and they were very similar. You can see that I did themes, and if you want to see more detail about those cards, be sure and watch the process video tomorrow. I know I went really fast on the cards. I hope that was okay. If not, be sure to change your settings on YouTube. You can slow it down. You can put me on silent so I don't sound weird. But I almost forgot to let you choose for next month. So I have two Authentiques in 6x6. One of them is called Liberty. It's red, white, and blue and patriotic and with dogs in it, which is kind of interesting, and you know I love that. Then the other one is called Voyage, and it would be still red and blue, but more beachy and ocean type style patterns, like seaside kind of thing. Let me know if you'd like to see Liberty or Voyage next month, and that's the one that I'll work on. Be sure to watch the other videos in this collaboration. You're going to see more than cards. People do all sorts of fun things with small paper pads. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.